Hey everyone, this is Morgan with Appalachian Sustainable Development, here with my friend and helper Alice today. And we are here to talk about my favorite subject in horticulture, which is soil. So, Alice, do you know where soil comes from? No? No. Okay, well soil has a few different components to it. So it has a mineral base, which is rock that's been eroded in some way. So it gets eroded by water, wind, just time, breaking it down. And that mineral material is in different particle sizes. So there's sand, which is the largest particle size in soil. There's silt, which is a medium particle size. And there's clay, which is tiny, tiny little particles. And that makes up soil. Soil is formed over a long period of time. Can you guess how long it took to form the soil here?
75 years.
75? More like 75 million years, actually. It took a long time to form the soil around here. Soil changes based on what's been growing in it. So if you leave plants in the ground that are perennials, meaning they come back every year, they die to the ground in the winter and then they come back in the spring, those roots that have been growing in the soil, they kind of break off a little bit every winter, and that becomes organic matter, which is another important component of soil. Do you know why that's important?
Because it helps things grow.
Exactly. Organic matter helps things grow. It helps with soil texture. So instead of a plant falling over in the soil, that organic matter helps the plant have an opportunity to hold itself up, to grab onto things, and to really soak up a lot of nutrients from that soil. And another really important component of soil that we don't think about often is air. So soil has to have some airspace in it, which we can't really see because it's on a microscopic level. But there are little air pockets in there, and without those, a plant's roots can't get through. So a plant can't grow unless there are air pockets, except for some specific species. But most of them, if they're growing in just clay, because those particles are so small, they're so close together, just clay and maybe water, those roots aren't going to be able to go anywhere. So with all of those different components in soil, it's really important to have the right ratio of one thing to the other. So the color of the soil tells us how many microbes are living in there, because this one has a lot of organic matter, a lot of living creatures in there that are going to help create a healthy ecosystem.
Are they still in there?
Yeah, they're still in there.
Are they still alive?
Yep, they're alive. So we have some soils here that we're going to take a look at today, and these came from different parts of the country and from different growing areas. So some came from fields, some came from forests, some came from the side of the road. So we're going to take a look and see what we think is best for growing plants based on what we know. We know that plants need a lot of organic matter. We know they need airspace in the soil, and they need a nice mixture of sand, silt, and clay. All right, now that we are down here on the same level, Alice and I are going to take a look at these soil samples that we brought in, and we're going to see which soil we think is going to be best to grow plants in. So Alice, do you want to take a look at the first one?
This one looks like it's more crummier and it has some grass in it.
Yeah.
Probably means that it had grass growing in it.
Yeah. Do we think that's good or bad for growing?
Probably good because already something was growing in it.
Yeah, that's true. So by having grass in it, we know that something can already grow in it. That's a really good point. And it looks like a pretty good level of grass in there too. So it's not too much, because sometimes if there is too much organic matter that hasn't decomposed all the way, that can actually take nutrients out of the soil and away from the plants that we want to take it up. So that one looks like a good one. How about number two?
This one looks like it's a bit more rockier and dry.
Mm-hmm. They're all dry, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. How about, it looks like there's a little bit of organic matter in there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How does it feel? Do you like the feeling of it? And the color? What about that?
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, so this one, if we look at this one compared to this one is blacker, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So in general, the darker the color of the soil, the more organic matter it has that can be taken up by plants. How about number 3?
This one looks like it has a lot more stuff in it, and it's like the same texture as this one, but it just has more things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that has a really good mixture of small and large particles or pieces of soil. And it does look like it has some wood chips in there that are still trying to break down.
Yeah.
So that's good. That'll start giving nutrients to the plant as they break down.
Yeah.
I think this one was taken from the very top of a field. So that's why there's some wood chips left in there.
Yeah. And the wood chips feel like they're already starting to break down because they're soft.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, they do. They're squishy a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
All right, how about number 4?
Number 4 seems like this one, but a bit more crummier, and it's brown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mostly the difference is in the color, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. Which one out of these two do you think is going to be better for plants?
This one.
That one?
Yeah.
Okay, why?
Because it seems like it has more things that would go on the top,
Mm-hmm.
and that might be better for the plant. And the texture is also just a bit more softer.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I would have said that one just because of the color, but we don't know until we try.
Yeah.
All right, and how about, let's just skip to number 6. How about this soil?
This one seems a lot more crummier, and it seems like it had clay in it.
Yes, this one came from a roadside, and it was really, really heavy in clay. Yeah, it just sticks together really tight.
Yeah.
And what's the problem with that when we're trying to grow things?
The roots won't go through it as well.
Right, there's no airspace. These particles are holding onto each other so tight that the roots can't make their way through. And how about number 7?
Number 7 seems a bit more wood chippier.
Wood chippier.
And it seems like it's just a lot of wood that hasn't decomposed yet.
Mm-hmm. So maybe it's not ready quite yet. It needs to decompose a little bit more.
And the wood chips aren't even soft.
All right. Well, that's a great assessment of all of these. All right, Alice, do you want to know where these soils actually came from?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so number 1 was your favorite, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that is actually sphagnum peat moss, which is really great for growing certain things. Do you have an idea of what kind of things? It's acidic. Do you know of anything that likes acid soil? That's okay. Blueberries love it. That's how we get delicious blueberries, is with that kind of soil. Number 2 is a soil from Iowa. So this is what I think of as the best kind of soil. So it has a very nice variable texture, a lot of organic matter because it's black. It has some organic matter that's still breaking down. And Iowa is one of the only 2 places in the world that has soil of this quality. That happened because of the Ice Age. So the ice moved down from the north and covered up to about the center of Iowa. And as it was growing down, it picked up a lot of this topsoil from up north farther. And then as it receded, it just dropped that topsoil right in place. So it basically just scooped all of the good stuff and dropped it in Iowa and Minnesota. Exactly. All right, number 3 is from a crop field, also in Iowa. That's why it has that darker color. And you can tell that things were recently growing in it because of those particles. Number 4 is from Tennessee, from a mountainside actually. And it's a different color because it does have less organic matter in it, and it is slightly acidic as well. Number 5, where do you think that one came from?
Iowa.
It did come from Iowa. It actually came from a creek bed in Iowa, and that's why it has a lot more of those smaller particles. Number 6, how about that one?
From the road.
Came from the road. And number 7 came from actually one of our raised beds that we use in learning landscapes. So it is just the very top portion, so you can see some perlite in there. You can see some wood chips that are going to break down, and it has great ratios of soil and pore space, or that air space in between the particles. So What are the important things for soil?
Organic matter, airspace,
Airspace, yeah.
and I don't remember the other one.
Those are the important things, I think. The airspace and organic matter are going to be decided based on your parent material, as well as your pH. That'll be decided based on your parent material or the rock that the soil was formed from. And organic matter is just readily available nutrients, so your plant grows like crazy. And I think that's it. Do you want to go plant some things?
Yeah.